Vehicle breakdowns are costly, inconvenient, and frustrating for both you, the vehicle operator, and your passengers. As a vehicle operator, you can greatly reduce the chances of a breakdown by conducting a thorough pre-trip inspection before you start your shift. If you can spot a minor problem before it turns into a major crisis that results in a breakdown, you and your passengers will be thankful. This video is intended to demonstrate a basic pre-trip inspection. While the vehicle shown may not be the same type used at your facility, your trainer will provide instruction on the vehicles you'll be operating. Begin your inspection by checking the engine compartment at the rear of the vehicle. Look underneath the vehicle for any signs of leaks, puddles, or hanging wires or belts. Once you open the engine compartment, examine the belts for fraying or for glazing. Ensure that all belts are tight. Hoses should be secured and have no visible leaks, cracks, or bulges. Next, check the fluid levels. Check the oil level using the dipstick. Look at the radiator indicator. If it's not green, the coolant level is low. If you discover any problems when checking the engine compartment, contact the dispatcher or mechanic before continuing. If there are not apparent problems, you're ready for the next step, starting the engine. Before starting the engine, make sure the transmission is in neutral and the emergency brake is set. Under normal conditions, the vehicle is started from the driver's seat. In the event of a malfunction, you can start the engine from the rear engine compartment of the vehicle. Turn the ignition switch on and place the switch to the rear position. Now simply press the start button. Once the engine is started, check the vehicle controls and gauges on the dashboard. The recommended way to perform the check is from left to right or from top to bottom. Either of these methods will ensure that nothing is overlooked. Do not check the controls according to the order they appear on the daily bus report. The DBR was created for mechanics to use and does not list the controls in a logical sequence for the vehicle operators to inspect the vehicles. The horn, heater, defroster, and air conditioner must be checked. Call your dispatcher to ask for a radio check. After completing your radio system check and while waiting for the air pressure to build, continue your inspection of the interior of the vehicle by checking to see if the vehicle's registration is current. If your vehicle has any type of permit, such as a Department of Transportation or city permits, check them as well. Make sure your destination sign is set according to location policy. The 3 safety items contained on the bus are the fire extinguisher, first aid kit, and reflector kit. These items are located near the front of the vehicle and must be inspected. Your trainer will give you specific instructions on how and when to use these safety devices. When checking the fire extinguisher, make sure it's the correct size. A 4 BC rating, which indicates that the extinguisher is large enough to extinguish a fire covering 4 square feet of petroleum products, such as gas, oil, or electrical equipment, is the minimum rating required. The extinguisher seen here is a 10 BC rating. Check the date on the inspection tag to make sure that it's within the past 12 months. The arrow on the dial should be in the green area. The nozzle should be free and clear. Shake the extinguisher to prevent the powder from caking in the bottom. If your vehicle carries less than 42 passengers, you should have a first aid kit with 16 units. This vehicle carries more than 42 passengers and requires a 24-unit kit. Both kits must have envelopes containing a face shield and latex gloves. Units refer to the number of first aid components in the kit. Check for an accident kit and new insurance ID. When checking your reflector kit, make sure that all reflectors are in good working condition. After completing your inspection of the 3 safety items, continue checking the interior of the vehicle. Check the modesty panels and handrails to make sure they're sturdy. Make sure the chime is functioning, either the pull cord or yellow request for stop strip, and that the seats and floor are clean. Check the wheelchair lift by making sure the master switch is on and run the lift through 1 complete cycle. While in this vehicle the controls are at the rear door, other vehicles may have the wheelchair lift controls on the dash. If the vehicle you're checking has the controls on the dashboard, you would check the lift when inspecting the other controls on the dash. After checking the wheelchair lift, check the seat and space where the wheelchair is secured. Make sure all securement devices are working properly. As you complete your inspection of the interior of the vehicle, check once again that the seats are secured to the floor and for loose handrails or stanchions, and emergency exits. Remember, it's important to check the emergency exits on each side of the bus. Check the emergency exits on the roof to see if they're free and clear. Before exiting the vehicle to inspect the outside, turn on your low-beam headlights and hazard lights. Once outside the vehicle, begin your inspection at the front of the vehicle, checking the clearance lights, head sign, and windshield wipers for damage and cleanliness. Make sure the headlights and hazard lights are working properly. Make your way around to the driver's side, checking top to bottom for damage and cleanliness as you go. Make sure the side marker lights are functioning properly. Inspect the left front tire to ensure that at least 4/32 of an inch of tread is left. Now, this can be done by inserting a penny upside down into the tread. If the top of Lincoln's head is covered, the tread is at or above legal limits. If the tread is close to being low, make a note of it on your DBR. Inspect the sidewalls of the tires for damage, noting any cracks or foreign objects on your DBR. Inspect the rim to make sure there's no damage or that the seal is not leaking. Check all lug nuts to ensure they are snug. Be sure to note all damage on your DBR. When inspecting the left rear tire, the tread should be 2/32 high. Using your penny, this would be just over the top of Lincoln's head. Complete the same procedures used for the left tire, then continue to the rear of the vehicle. At the rear of the vehicle, start your inspection at the top, checking clearance lights, the rear window, and body for damage. Make sure the hazard lights and tail lights are working properly. Making your way around the bus, check the right rear tire as you did the left rear, ensuring that at least 2/32 of tread is present. Check the sidewall rim, seal, and lug nuts before continuing. As you walk to the front of the passenger's side, inspect the body, windows, and side marker lights for damage and cleanliness. Similar to the left front tire, the right front tire should have 4/32 of tread. Inspect the sidewall, rim, seal, and lug nuts. Finish checking the outside lights by turning off the low beam headlights and hazard lights. Turn the engine off, but leave the ignition on. Turn on the high beam headlights and check backup lights by placing vehicle gear shift in reverse and leave the door open to activate the brake lights. After checking these lights, you're nearing the completion of your inspection. Re-enter the bus and start the engine to begin the air brake test. By this time, the air pressure should have built up and the air compressor should have cut off. The air pressure gauge should not read more than 130 pounds per square inch. Repeatedly pump the service brake until the gauge reads 85 pounds per square inch. The air compressor should now activate on and resume building pressure. When the maximum pounds per square inch is reached, turn the engine off. You must now perform a static test. Make sure you're on level ground so the vehicle will not roll. With the engine off, release the emergency brake and keep your foot off the service brake. After the needle stabilizes, wait 1 minute. You should not lose more than 2 pounds per square inch. An applied test must now be done to the brake system. Depress the service brake. After the system stabilizes, hold the brake down for 1 minute. You should not lose more than 3 pounds per square inch. Check the low air warning devices. With the ignition on, pump the brake until the warning light and/or buzzer activates. The gauge should read between 55 and 75 pounds per square inch. Continue pumping the brake until the emergency brake pops up. The gauge should read between 20 and 45 pounds per square inch. Start the engine and put the vehicle into drive. Try to move the vehicle and see if the emergency brake holds. Next, build the air pressure to the maximum. Let the vehicle move forward and apply the emergency brake. The vehicle should stop. Repeat this last process to see if the brakes grab or pull to the left or right. Once your brake test has been completed, you're finished with your pre-trip inspection. Once you become familiar with the pre-trip inspection, it should take you about 12 to 15 minutes to complete. Don't worry if it takes you longer your first few times. The important thing is not how long it takes, but that you do it correctly the first day and every day thereafter. Before you start your trip, make sure the mirrors are adjusted properly. In a large vehicle, it is very different than in your personal car. Your trainer at your location will teach you how to properly adjust your mirrors. Remember to finish your DBR paperwork. Set your head sign, and then you're ready to roll. Always start your shift with the confidence that comes from doing everything you can to have a safe and efficient day. Thank you.